Do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
That human beings are in a fallen state.
Right. My show is called The Fallen State. Do you believe
Right.
human beings are in a fallen state?
Naturally, see, it all depends on what you mean by that. And what, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you mean that were we born into sin or some shit like that? Is
Right.
that what you're trying to say?
Right. We were born into sin, and that sin caused us to fall away from God. And now we're in darkness, and Satan is our daddy.
In certain ways, I have to agree with that. I believe we are in a fallen state, but I don't believe that we're naturally born into that. This is a state that's been created. It's been crafted, but this is not something that we are born into naturally. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this is the abnormal that has become normal.
Well, what happened is that we were not born that way. We weren't created that way. We weren't born that way. We were created in the image of God. But because of what Adam and Eve did, we were born through the woman. We were born through the woman, and in being born through the woman, we come into a crazy family because the woman is running it. She's angry. Satan is her daddy. And she hates the man that she's with. She hates her father. And she ended up turning the children away from the father. And
see, but that wasn't her original state either. You're
right.
talking about something that happened later.
That's
the woman
right.
wasn't always like that.
That's right. They weren't created that way. But when Eve listened to Satan and believed into that lie, she took on his identity. So when we were born.
This is where philosophically we might start to differ, and because I'm not one who's going to just stick strictly to the Bible and feel like everything that's being said in there is word for word fact. There's evidence to suggest that snake actually can also represent the Kundalini, and which goes up your spine and helps give you God consciousness, and that story is being twisted a little bit. So, and trust me, these people, okay, are the masters of twisting things around and making up seem down and down seem up. So let's not be so harsh. I'm hearing a little harshness towards the woman in what you're saying, and I'm saying that's not. Although that might be the result of what happens, that's not who she is by nature.
That's why the men have to be born again. They have to overcome the mother's nature, return to the father's nature, and take back their natural identity, and then you bring the woman out of her hell.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if I can agree with that. I don't know if I can agree with that. I see that's your point of view.
But why do you think men think and act like women? It's not natural for a man to be emotional. It's not natural for him to be angry. But he has the woman's identity. How do you think he took on the woman's identity if she didn't turn him away and recreate him in her image?
Well, I feel like this happened when they created an imbalance in the family, when they take the man out of the equation. And now you got these women out here saying, "Oh, I'm the man and the woman. I'm his daddy and his mama."
Yeah.
They're going to look up to the example, their frame of reference of what they have. And now if a woman who's trying to act like a man but really doesn't know how to be a man, and now when she's confronted with certain conflicts or whatever and gets in a very emotional state, this man is going to emulate that, or this boy who grows to a man is going to emulate that. And so he's just following what he sees. But it's the imbalance that was created. I'm not just going to put this all on the woman and say, oh, she's evil or something, and we need the man to, we need the man for the balance is what we need him for.
Do you believe
because
that?
She can't do both.
Do you believe we become like what we hate?
That we become like what it's possible.
And so it's impossible that the boys and the girls, when they are controlled by the mother, they resent the mother. And when they resent her, they become like her. But when they forgive her, God will forgive them, and then they can return to their fathers.
You keep saying return to their fathers in a slick little way. See, it's like you make sense in a way. But this whole return to their fathers as if, so what, are we getting rid of the mothers now?
No,
we don't need the mothers anymore?
It's the father, the husband. Well, really, the mother's supposed to grow up as a little girl close to her father. But her mother turned her away from her father, so she became like her father. So when she finally get married, if she married an alpha male who has overcome his mother, then he will bring his wife out of that hell that she's in by showing her how to forgive her mother and to love her father who should have protected her from the mother. But he couldn't do it because he ended up marrying his mother. You become attracted to what you hate. And that's why a lot of men become little boys, because they end up marrying mama. But if they forgave their mama, they would marry a woman that will not become their mother. They would lead her the right way to go instead of following her right into her hell.
Okay.
I
see that.
That's something to smoke on, huh?
That's something to smoke on.
So think about that, man, because that's what the problem is. If you forgive your mother, God will forgive you, and you'll overcome her nature and love your father. You don't resent your father. Then you can love God, and you'll be fine. But as long as
when you say overcome her nature, that's when I have a problem.
That angry,
you're giving you're
angry,
the
insecure
predisposition as if she has a predisposition to be bad or something.
No,
like
she would recreate.
This was all.
She would recreate in her mother image, and it goes on for generation till the husband change it. When he changed that by showing
but it didn't start. She didn't just start out originally with these foul motives.
Right, she wasn't born that way.
She was put on a certain path, and we both was put on a certain path. Because we're not going to just act like, okay, the woman did all the bad shit, and the man was just, pristine the whole time. The man did foul
it's not
shit
her.
Too.
It's not her, but it's the spirit that made a home in her, and she can't help it. And that's why the men have to overcome her nature so they can return to the natural nature of a man, because it's illogical for a man to be all in his head, be emotional, have anger and fear and doubt.
I agree.
A man is logical, so he can bring her out of her hell, and she could become logical like him. Then she can enter into the kingdom.
I agree.